Have you ever asked yourself, what do I really want? Am I happy? I've coached many people in the past. One day, a director from a top 100 company came to me. Michelle, I've been very busy all these years, and I always do what other people ask me to do. Even when I changed job, that was because someone asked me to join them. I never thought about what I really want. Recently, I was sick and staying in bed. And I asked myself, what do I want? I suddenly realized that I don't know what I want. That's horrible. Please help me find the answer. And I want to spend the rest of my career and life pursuing something I really care about. Are you also confused by what job you are taking? Or thinking about why you are doing this? I was. And that's why I changed my career to become a consultant and a coach. Hi, my name is Michelle Zou. More than 20 years ago, I was working in HP China, and I had a very clear goal at that time. I wanted to learn the most advanced management theory and practice so that I could help companies in China succeed. Therefore, I came to the US to study MBA. After graduated, I have been working at the best tech companies in the US and joined Microsoft in 2006. Then in 2013, I transferred from Microsoft headquarters to the China subsidiary. Among those busy days working in China, I talked to my mentor about how I was feeling and what my heart was telling me. Then at the end of 2014, I decided to go after my mission and started my own training, consulting, and coaching company, Pacific Technologies Consulting Group, to help Chinese companies grow business in the US and help professionals and leaders fulfill their potential. That's really trying to fulfilling the goal I set up for myself 20 years ago, or more than 20 years ago. And from the day I started my own company, I was very lucky also contracting with Microsoft to provide services. By doing career coaching and executive coaching, I've helped people from many countries in different career stages. Some of them are young graduates just started their career. Some are engineers or people managers that have worked for 10 or 20 years. And some are executives with many years of experience. Today, I want to share with you a framework and some tools I often use when coaching others. I hope this can help you think about your own career path. Let me show you my screen. So the topic I want to discuss is how to design your career path. When we're thinking about career path or career development, one of the approaches is to consider these 3 steps. First, listen to your own heart. Ask yourself, what do I really want? Then, find the meaning of your life and the purpose of your career. You can create a vision for yourself. After that, you can start with the vision and go back to identify the path to get there. You build a roadmap, figure out what milestones you should set on the path, and take actions. You want to keep your mind open and be flexible on this journey and adjust your path and the milestones along the way. Let me tell the story of my client I've coached to help you understand this approach. So first, listen to your heart. What do you really want? I have coached an engineer who is in his early 30s. He's worked for about 10 years and changed multiple jobs. When he came to me, he said he was frustrated and he was not passionate about what he was doing. He tried different things, but every time after a couple of months, he found it was not his passion. He said he was disengaged at work and he didn't like this. He did show up to work every day, but he was not feeling fulfilled and was not interested in putting his best efforts to work. He wished he could find the right kind of job so that he would feel more fulfilled and happier. So I showed him this tool, the meaning and commitment quadrant, which I learned from Harvard University professor who is teaching positive psychology. His name is Tal Ben-Shahar. In this chart, the horizontal axis is the level of your commitment or motivation towards work, and the vertical axis is the level of meaning you think of your work. If both commitment and meaning are low, then you are drifting. You have no purpose. You have no direction in what you are doing. You perceive your work as a job, and you do it for the paycheck. What you look forward to? Well, you look forward to weekends, vacation, and retirement. If you are low in meaning but high in commitment, you are grinding. You are working hard, but the motivation is money and advancement. Some people see their career as a race, competition, no matter it is competing with others or themselves. It's about running faster, reaching higher, and becoming stronger. Accordingly, the expectation is prestige and power and accomplishments. If you have a very meaningful goal, but you are not putting efforts towards it, you are just dreaming. However, if you are motivated and putting great efforts in doing something that is very meaningful to you, then you are living a purposeful life. You perceive your work as a calling. Your work is a passion and a privilege. This is where you have a sense of purpose. When it comes to expectations, it is to realize your mission. You are happy when doing what you are doing. After I showed this model to my client said immediately, well, I am in the drifting box. This word is exactly what I'm feeling. For all these years I'm drifting, all the jobs happened to me, but I'm not sure what I really want. How can I get to the box of living a purposeful life and work as a calling? That sounds wonderful. I told him, well, you are aware that you are drifting and asking yourself what you want. This is very good. The first step is to listen to your heart. We experience a sense of purpose when meaning and commitment come together. The good news is we can reframe our perception of what we are already doing, and through that, inject our lives with a sense of purpose, so that you can start from where you are now. Of course, we can also find the right fit to your sense of meaning, your sense of purpose. So, how to find the meaning of life? And how do you find your sense of purpose, your North Star? Let me continue the story of my client to share the learning on finding the meaning of life and his North Star. I asked my client these questions. Those are questions from Viktor Frankl. He used those for us to find meanings. What is meaningful to you? Who is important to you? What do you find meaningful? The answer to these questions can provide us a compass and help us find our own personal and unique way. After that, I asked my client to create a vision for himself in the future. The reason for doing this is when we have a purposeful goal, we will have the North Star that points the direction, and we know where we are heading to. With that, we will be able to focus on today, reframe our perception of what we're already doing, and make the most of here and now. To create a vision of your future self, there are two approaches I often use with my client. One approach, I call it role models. This means you can think about some people that you've met, no matter it's from real life, from books, TV, or internet. Some people you admire about them and wish you can be just like them. You can have multiple role models. For each role model, you can peel it down to analyze what makes you admire him or her, what qualities you wish you have. When you do this, you will synthesize the information, start to form your own picture of what you want yourself to look like in the future. The more you think about this, the clearer your vision will be. When my client was doing this role model exercise, he first mentioned Bill Gates as his role model. He thinks that Gates is a visionary, can see the future, has big vision to use technology changing the world. He also admired Gates' philanthropy, helping so many people in the world. In addition, he mentioned a middle school teacher he had as his role model. He said this teacher made his class so interesting and fun, and he was looking forward to class every day at that time. He thinks education is a very meaningful area. Through education, we can influence our next generation, change people's lives, and change the entire society. Besides that, my client also considered one of his colleagues as a role model. He said his colleague is very professional, and she has the ability of taking an idea to develop product features and get it built. Through listening to his own heart and observing others, my client created a vision of the future. He said he wants to lead a group of people, use technology to enable and empower education, so that students will no longer dislike school, but really enjoy school and learning. Then I asked my client to describe the vision he saw in more details and asked him how he felt. The vision became more and more clear and become live, and he was getting very excited. I suggested him to write this down and said, you can use this vision as your North Star. It points the direction for you, and it can motivate you, help you find your purpose. It tells you where you are going and why you are doing the work. If you are confused or got lost someday, you can think about your North Star because you will be able to find the direction and not give up easily. Well, coming to myself, one of my own role model is Peter Drucker. He's been viewed as the founder of modern management. He was a consultant and an author. He helped many companies and coached many business leaders. He also published a lot of books. Influenced by him, I decided to become a consultant and coach. Besides that, I admire Drucker's energy and spirit. He worked until his 80s, or maybe even 90s. I wish my brain can stay sharp in that age, and I can still work in my 80s or 90s. I'm very lucky that I have found my purpose and enjoy what I'm doing now, so I don't plan to retire. Another approach to create your vision is called birthday party. Imagine you are 60 or 70 years old. You are satisfied with your life and feel like you have lived a fulfilling life. Your family and those people you cared about come to your birthday party to celebrate with you. They might be your parents, your spouse, children, friends, classmates, colleagues, your boss, and people reported to you, and so on. They come to tell you what kind of people, what kind of person you are in their eyes. In this way, you put together what you want these people to describe about you, and then you form a 360-degree vision of you. a picture that tells who you are in the future. Of course, we won't become who we want to be merely by imagination. When you set our purposeful goals, find direction, design our path, and then play our strengths, manage our weakness, work really hard, put efforts into it. We also want to adopt a growth mindset and get closer and closer to our goals. Our goals may change when we gain more experience as we are getting older, and they may change when we are at different life stages. We want to be flexible and adjust on our path. With purposeful goals, we won't get lost because we know why we exist, and we're more likely to succeed no matter how you define your own success. So, after we have found meaning and had our North Star, how do we design a path to reach our purposeful goals? And when we are facing the unknown brought from changes, how should we make a decision? I often use roadmap to illustrate this. In R&D, we have a roadmap. Your vision, your purposeful goals is your roadmap. Is your product. You know how the product should look like. Then, and you also have a plan when it should be launched. So from your vision, your North Star, you can go back to plan your path. Think about how to get there, what milestones you need to hit on that way, and when. Therefore, you will have a set of smaller goals in your path, your plan. And you will achieve each of them along the way. Well, the roadmap of your career won't be very detailed because there's a lot of things you don't know yet. And you will, most likely make some changes in this journey. However, you can at least design a path towards that direction. And then really focus on the next milestone or a few baby steps towards that. Let me come back to the story of my client. After he created his vision of education, leading a group of people doing that, he designed a roadmap towards that vision. He was a software engineer when I first met him. He said he wanted to gain some experience in product planning and product management, just like his colleague who is a role model for him. And he also wants to learn business development, sales, marketing, and have experience in leading a team. Of course, it may not make sense for him to take a job of each of the functions for a couple of years, because that will take really, really long. But he wanted to at least gain some knowledge and education in those kind of areas. In addition, he wanted to get opportunities in education products or education field to better understand the pain points there so that he can identify opportunities to improve this. After he listed all those major milestones, I asked him, what are some things you plan to do first? He said, I can start by leveraging my current job to learn about product management by talking to my PM colleague. I then asked him, when are you going to do this? What are you going to talk about? And what do you want to get out from that conversation? With this, my client set up a very clear goal for himself for the next couple of weeks, and included what he would do and how to measure if he achieved it. So this is an example of how to use the roadmap tool. By using that and by having this conversation, my client was more motivated in doing his current job and leveraged the resources he had to learn more towards his longer-term goals. After a year, he reached his first major milestone and changed job to become a product manager. So next, I want to spend some time to introduce the pain gain model of action. This tool is very useful when you are facing a change and trying to make a conscious decision. For example, you are considering if you should take a new job or just stay in the current one. I often use this tool to help my clients on such kind of questions. Let's first take a look at this chart. It has 4 boxes. The vertical axis has current on the top and future on the bottom. The horizontal axis has pain on the left and gain on the right. The first step is to look at a box that marked number 1 and ask yourself the question there. What is the pain or cost to remain in the current situation? Then step 2 is look at the box with number 4 and ask yourself, what are the benefits of making the change? For each of the questions, you think about the answers and you write it down in the box. So this time, let me use myself as an example to explain how to use this tool. In the summer of 2014, I was working in Microsoft China. I moved from Redmond to Beijing for that role, and it has been 1.5 years. After another year, my contract on that role would expire, and I was thinking very hard, trying to make a choice between returning to Microsoft Corp in Redmond or starting my own company to pursue my mission, which was the one that I set 20 years ago. It was helping companies to grow their US-China cross-border businesses through consulting, training, and coaching. So when I was looking at box 1, I think, if I go back to Microsoft in Redmond or change job, join another big company such as Amazon in Seattle, it's very possible that I will do the same kind of job, same kind of work I've been doing in the past 20 years. To tell you the truth, I've tried many different roles and know, based on my experience, after another 5 or even 10 years, how my future would look like by just staying in those big companies. And I can even imagine how my life would look like. I would be very busy every day, and many things are not under my decision power. The strategy we developed after weeks of work is often trashed when reorg happens. And I would feel I'm not in control. I don't like that. In addition, I don't want to retire early. I want to work at least another 20 years. So I do think climbing the corporate ladder is what I really want to do in the next 20 years. Then I looked at box 4. What are the benefits of making the change? I felt excited when I was thinking to go after my mission and realized the goal I set up for myself 20 years ago when I came to the US for MBA. I believe I could leverage the experience I gained through working in the past many years. I can also leverage my understanding of both US and China, my knowledge of modern management. I did a lot of research on that, and my strengths of international business and interpersonal communication. I can use this to help more business, help more leaders, help more companies. I feel more fulfilled with this. Besides that, I like the feeling that I can decide what I want to do, control my own time, and spend more time with my kids before they leave home for college. So those are the 2 steps first. Now let's go to step 3. Look at the question in the number 2 box. How do I benefit from the current situation? Well, the current job has good pay and benefits, brings financial stability, great job, great work environment. I feel I'm being respected by others, and I gain credibility by associated with the Microsoft brand. I also enjoy the people around me, those Microsoft peers, the employees, and our partners. And I can benefit from, continue associate myself with the Microsoft brand, and maybe do something related to Microsoft, and maybe continue to go back to the campus to meet the people, to work with the people that I really enjoyed working with. So step four, I asked the question in the box 3. What costs have to be paid in order to make the change? I feel that when I think about change, I have a lot of fear and doubt when I am facing the unknown from the change. If I'm running my own business, I need to give up the good salary and the financial stability I currently enjoy. I need to give up the working environment of the beautiful Microsoft campus. And I don't like sales. I need to overcome the fear of selling and do things I don't like and not good at. At least I think I'm not good at sales. I also have self-doubt of my capability of being a consultant and trainer. So there's a lot of things I have in my mind. After listing all the information in each of the boxes, I took a step back and see the bigger picture. At that moment, I was very clear on what I want. I knew I wanted to make a change, give myself this opportunity to try. But if I could keep some benefits in the box 2 and reduce the pain in box 3, then I would feel much better. So step number 5, I thought, what could I do to keep some of the benefits in number 2? Well, I said to myself, I can work for Microsoft as a contractor by joining a vendor company. I will spend some of my time there so I can continue working with great people there. I can enjoy the beautiful campus when I want, and providing services to Microsoft is a good thing for my brand and credibility. Think about the income. The part of the income from contracting for Microsoft is relatively stable. Besides, my husband is still working in a big company, and our benefits are covered. Then think about how could I reduce the pain in box 3, the cost I have to pay in order to make that change. I did several things. First, I contacted a vendor company for Microsoft so I could start my contract right after I left. 2, I tried a couple of smaller projects for training at my own spare time before I left my full-time job, and gained confidence on that. In fact, I found myself really enjoyed it. And for the problem of sales, I took the same approach like I planned with Microsoft. Partnered with other people, so they do the sales, and I didn't need to do the sales part, but focus my time on coaching, developing training courses, and delivering those training. I'm okay to share part of the revenue than doing things I don't like. So after listening to my heart and talked with my coach and did all the above analysis, I decided to leave Microsoft to start my own company. And my coach asked me one more question. What is the worst could happen? Are you willing to accept that? I said, the worst thing is I'm not able to make money to support myself after trying this for a year or 2. Well, and I simply go back to Microsoft and work there. I'm pretty confident about that. After saying this, I was laughing. So I discussed with my husband. We looked together at our financial situation and made an agreement. The agreement is, if after 2 years I'm still not able to support myself and my business, I will just go back and work in a big company to earn salaries. At this point, I made a decision without any more hesitation and made a big change of my life. Now, let me briefly review the campaign model of action. Of the 4 quadrants, you go with the order of 1, 4, 2, and 3. Ask yourself the questions in those boxes. What's the pain of cost to remain in the current situation? What are the benefits of making the change? How do I benefit from the current situation? And what costs have to be paid in order to make the change? After filling in the box 1, 4, 2, 3, then you ask yourself, what do you see? What do you want to do? If you want to make the change, then think about how to get the gains in box number 2 in some other way, and how to reduce the pains in box 3. You can also ask the worst scenario question and go through each of the items in the scenario to understand the reality of the fear. If it's necessary, maybe you can come up with a backup plan. So in summary, I talked about a framework I often use in helping my clients designing their career path. It has these 3 components. First, listen to your own heart. Ask yourself, what do I really want? Then find the meaning of your life and set up a purposeful goal for your career. That is your North Star, your direction. After that, you can start with this goal and go back to consider what kind of a path to lead there. You build a roadmap, figure out the milestones you should meet on this path, and take actions. On this journey, you need to keep an open mind and be flexible. Aim the direction, check in with yourself from time to time, and adjust your path and milestones along the way.